Okay, hey guys. I'm making this video as a video to show off a script that I wrote in Python. I'm just gonna break it down for you guys, and hopefully you understand how it works, and you have fun watching the video. And I'm gonna get a little nerdy with the details, so if you don't understand everything, feel free to comment down below any doubts or questions that you have. This is the first software engineering video in my channel in quite a while. So let's get started. Okay, so I have my terminal open. I'm using a Mac right now. This is ZSH. It's like a bash basically. If you don't know what a bash is, you should. It's like a terminal. If you call yourself a software engineer or a coder, you should be doing stuff using geeky command line interfaces like this, not the GUI. But whatever. We're gonna go over to the directory where I have my stuff, and we're gonna get started. Okay. Okay. So we have the thing done. Okay, we have it ready, and I'm just gonna show you what the software does, and then I'll get into explaining how it was written. Okay. So you can't really see it, but hmm, wonder because it's beneath my camera. Yeah, just focus on this box for now. Okay, I'm gonna type Python main Jarvis engine.py. So Python is the command. So I have Python installed on the system. So when I use the keyword Python, it indicates to the OS that I want to run a Python script. And then that's why I use that keyword. And then you can notice the slash space Jarvis slash space engine. So my file is named main Jarvis engine with two spaces in the middle. However, if you write stuff in the command line like this, often it doesn't take the space as like it'll look at the space and it'll think they're two separate words, and it won't think it's one continuous file name because main.javaengine.py is one file name. So slash space is the escape character. It's called an escape character, but that's why it looks like that basically. So need to do that, and then I'm going to click enter, and then okay, so you see a blank screen right now, but it says I am ready for your command, right? Okay, it's just it's reading what I'm saying out loud. Okay, hold on. Open Reddit. Drag this over here. Scroll down. Scroll up. Open YouTube. Open website wikipedia.com. Tell me a joke. Would you call a crowd of chess players bragging about their wins in a hotel lobby? Chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. It's not bad. It's not bad. Google a Google a cappuccino recipe. Okay, that works, right? So, okay, hold on. I'm gonna stop the script just so you know what it does by now. Okay. So, if you didn't get it by now, it's uh, it's kind of speech to text command version of an assistant, right? So it lets you control your web browser through your voice commands. So what it does is it can open certain websites. You just say open this website or open that website, it'll open it for you. It can scroll down and scroll up the page at a fixed pace if you tell it to. You don't even have to touch anything, it's just voice commands. And then it can Google anything you want. It can tell you a joke, stuff like that, right? So I just I just made this out of fun. Like, I just thought that it might be a cool idea for a video, and I put some work into it. So I'm gonna show you and explain to you how the script works step by step. So this is the nerdy part. So I have it open here on Sublime Text. So I'm just gonna minimize it a little bit so you can see. Okay, that looks about good. And okay, so what I've built is a script which acts as a assistant, basically, right? A purely assist, like no hands assistant. You tell it stuff, it does stuff. Okay. There's obviously voice commands working, and then the prerequisite for any voice commands is speech to text and text to speech, right? You might not have heard the text to speech in the video, but in the original version of the script, like if you clone this on your own local and run it, like you'll be able to hear your terminal speaking to you in a vaguely robotic male voice, but whatever. Yeah, so the first two parts are the Google text to speech and speech to text, right? So what I've done is basically I've installed a bunch of libraries. Okay, so it's GTTS, speech recognition, right? A bunch of libraries I've installed, right? As in now you're gonna ask me that, okay, you know what, like how do I install these libraries, right? Like I don't know what GTTS is, I don't know what's sure, okay, fine, I'll show you. Okay, so what you need to do is look at this script. So a library is basically it's like a collection of functions, if you will, right? So I'm resuming. Okay, still need to. Okay, so this is GDTS, right? It literally stands for Google Text to Speech, and what it does is it's a Python library and a CLI tool to interface with Google Translate Text to Speech API, right? Pip install GDTS, right? So if you have Python installed on your local, you most likely have pip as well. Pip is a package manager for Python. What's a package manager? If you know like absolutely nothing about programming, a package manager is a software, it's a tool, it's a CLI tool that helps you manage dependencies. It helps you download libraries so you can use them in your code. if you're working in Python, it's pip. If you're working in stuff like Node.js, right? So npm is a very popular one, right? npm is used for a variety of Node.js and other JS related frameworks, right? So you're gonna need pip and you're gonna need a bunch of other stuff, all of the other libraries mentioned here, like speech recognition, OS, RE, right? But if you see the import statement, you're gonna need all this stuff. So basically just do a pip install and then just all of this stuff, right? So once we have the prerequisites out of the way, what's important is to understand how the thing works, right? So I don't know if you know this or if you ever thought about it, but your smartphone, your Alexa device, and every other smart device which you own, which has a microphone, is probably listening to you all the time. Like it is recording live audio from your microphone 24/7. Okay. So obviously these giant tech companies aren't eavesdropping on everyone all the time. I don't think they have the time or the capacity to do that, but whatever, because when you say the word "Hey Google" and your phone lights up, it's obviously because your phone is translating your voice to text continuously, and then it says the words "Hey Google," and then it's like, okay, um, it's time to listen to the next line because that's going to be the command, right? But the fact that it lights up when you say "Hey Google" means that it's always listening to you. So we do a very similar thing here. We run like an infinite loop where the script is like always listening to you, right? It's called my command. And what it does is it uses your microphone, it prints ready on the console, and then adjusts for ambient noise so it doesn't mistake like the noise of the fan and stuff for like for like whatever your voice may be. Just make sure your voice is the main thing, and then it gets the audio of your voice, and what it does is it turns that audio into text, and then it prints that text. Because if you go back to the terminal and see, it says you said sidewalks, right? You said Google a cappuccino recipe, and this is basically the text version of the audio recording the program took, right? So that's the infinite listening loop. The talk to me is literally a small function that says in like a robotic voice, like a male robotic voice, what line, whatever. I've disabled it here, honestly. Like I've disabled the thing. You don't really need it, but then you could uncomment it and see what it does. It just, I think what it does is the line, this line, it says you said, right? It'll just read this whole thing out. And then sometimes the speech to text isn't really accurate, so it'll like it'll think you said some kind of rubbish, and it'll write that stuff over here, and then it'll try to say that out loud in its like robotic voice, and it's like super weird. And then it was like annoying, so I shut it down. But then you could uncomment this section here and play with it to see what it does. Okay, it's not important, so I skipped it. Then's the assistant, right? Now the assistant is a giant if else block. All right, I hate to break it to you, but this is not some deep learning neural net thing, as you have probably surmised by now. It's a single Python script. So what's happening inside is you basically have hard-coded commands. So if you say open Reddit, it opens Reddit for you. If you say open YouTube, it opens YouTube for you. You could open any website you wanted, just copy and paste this block of code below this and just replace it with your website URL, and right? So yeah, so like what it does is these are hard-coded commands, and it'll open YouTube and read for you. And then if you say for any random generic website which is not mentioned here, you could say open website wikipedia.com or open website facebook.com or something else, and it'll yeah, whatever the word is that you said after website. So if I say open website facebook.com, it'll take the facebook.com and it'll append it here. So www.facebook.com, and it'll open that, which works fine, by the way. So if you try that out, it's pretty neat. It's probably the most generic and the most useful one. It works great, right? If you say what's up, it'll just reply just doing my thing. If you ask it for a joke, it'll open a dad joke website and tell you one. And then okay, so now here's the important stuff. Okay, so if you I'll get to that. I'll get to the scroll up and scroll down. Okay, if you type Google, right? So if you say like Google and then something, so I said Google a cappuccino recipe, right? And it did that in the video. So if I think it was the last one, right? Yes, yes. I Google a cappuccino recipe, and I think it opened one. It's pretty. I might have closed it. Did I? Yeah, I might have closed it, but it was there. You saw it, right? So what it does is, so it basically extracts the part of the string after the word Google, right? So if you say Google a cappuccino recipe, it cuts out a cappuccino recipe, that part of the string, and then it searches for it. So it literally searches Google with the query string, a cappuccino recipe, and then that's it. It'll search for you. Now, if you're like, okay, how can something search in Google without me typing and pressing the search button in Google Chrome? Well, let me show you something interesting if you didn't know this. This is called a query string. Okay, I'm gonna type YouTube. That was a typo, but even though it was a typo, okay, let's try that again. Okay, so I searched for YouTube and it showed up, right? Look at this. Look at the thing on top. Search query equals YouTube and some other stuff which you don't care about. But then this is the string, okay? So the exact phrase which you used to search something in Google is there on the search bar. Okay, this is literally how Google works. This is how it keeps track. Okay, I'll break it down even further. Right, you're like, hold on, that's fine. We have a giant hash and stuff. Okay, let me do it like this. So we're gonna copy everything on the search bar, and then we're just gonna paste it here to see what it looks like. It says search q equals YouTube, and then a bunch of stuff which is completely random to you, right? So just delete everything after the and here search for something else. Search for Wikipedia. Let's just say this is what you want, right? Copy this, paste it in the search bar. Okay, enter. See what I mean? It'll search for you. You don't need to type the phrase over there. So that's how Google search works, and that's how the browser keeps track of what you're searching for. And then anyway, so that's kind of how this works as well. It'll append it to that, and it'll plug in that thing, like Google that thing, and it'll like plug it into the search bar, and it'll search for you, right? So it works. Now comes in the most important part of the entire script, that is the scroll up and the scroll down, right? This is most likely the feature that you have not seen anywhere else, right? I haven't seen an assistant on your phone or on your anywhere else, honestly, that lets you scroll up and scroll down via voice, mostly because what's the perfect speed, right? And then secondly, how do you know when to stop, or how do you know, like, you could use your fingers. It's not that big a deal, but I just implemented this for fun because I wanted to see if I could do it, and then it worked. So what I do is basically I'm using this thing called Selenium. Selenium is a tool that automates web browsers. Okay. What that means is there are people working for websites, any websites you could take, like Facebook, Reddit, anything, right? So, like a lot of manual scrolling. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Okay, so imagine you worked for Facebook and you implemented a new feature, right? There are these emojis below every post, like a heart, a like, a haha react, right? A love, stuff like that. There's like a bunch of reactions to a post. Let's say you developed that, right? That was your code and you wrote that piece of code and now it's live in production. But then how do you know that works, right? Sure, you can bring up the website, click it, and it works, it shows up, right? But then how do you know that notifications are being sent to the people who wrote the post, or if the notifications are accurate, or like how do you know? It's like a bunch of stuff. Like you need to test this stuff, and in software like these features undergo exhaustive testing. So usually, a lot of the times, there is no manual person who just scrolls on the web page and like clicks on the reactions and checks if everyone is working. And it's an extremely boring job. Nobody wants to do it. Okay, nobody has time to do it, right? Nobody has time to waste like that. So those stuff are not done by manual humans. It's done by automated software. So you could just write code that says react this on this post, scroll down, react that on the next post, and then it's like the browser will like automatically do it for you. It's like the computer itself will react to the post for you. You don't need to lift a finger. It'll click the buttons, it'll switch the tabs, it'll scroll up, down, whatever you want it to. You don't need to do anything. Okay, that's basically what Selenium is. It's a tool which lets you do stuff like that. Okay, if you're a developer and you already know this stuff, it's famous for enabling rapid repeatable web app testing, which allows developers to ship new releases faster and with confidence. Okay, blah blah. Anyways, yeah, so that's the definition. So what it does is it lets you automate stuff on your web browser without you having to lift a finger. So among the features which can be automated, the scroll up and scroll down are two features which can be automated. So that's what I did. So I have a library called WebDriver, um, and I imported Selenium from it, right? And I imported the Chrome driver manager as well. It's because I'm doing this testing on Chrome, so I want Selenium to have access to Chrome, right? Had I been doing the testing on Firefox, I'd need the Firefox driver manager, but I'm doing this on Chrome, so it's the Chrome driver manager, and then so it's like from Selenium import this, right? So you probably need to install Selenium as well, and then just import a sub library from it, and then like a bunch of commands here. As you can see, sub libraries, and then you import like one of them, right? So once you have the ones that you want, you basically, what it does is it executes the script window.scroll 0, 1, right? And it like this is a for loop in Python, okay? So it'll just scroll up or like scroll down for you, right? Like don't worry too much about the exact thing. It's just like -1 is in the up direction and 1 is in the down direction, like whatever. And this driver.window handles basically makes sure that you scroll up or you scroll down on the last open tab, right? Because if you have multiple tabs open, you want to scroll up or to scroll down to work on the last open tab, right? You don't want it to do it on a different tab. So that's what this one does. It makes sure that the driver is, moving on the last open tab, and then that's basically it. It just does it for you, and it will scroll for a fixed amount at a fixed speed. If you want to change the speed, you change this number. If you want to change the duration, the time for which it scrolls, you change this number. Okay, that's how it goes. And then that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. This is the infinite loop while true assistant my command, and then the my command is the infinite listening function, right? Say yeah. So see while true assistant my command. So it's like a function in a function. So the my command function basically listens to what you said and returns that as text, and then the assistant function is the one with all these options, and then which does what you're saying, right? I don't think this script has an option like I did not recognize your command, or like I don't know how to do that yet, right? Sometimes like your Google Home Mini or your Alexa will tell that to you. So that's this else here, that my else just says pass. You could print like I didn't get what you said, or didn't recognize that command or something like that over here. It'll work for that purpose. But then essentially, yeah, essentially this is how it works, right? I will leave a link to my GitHub repository in the description. You can go there and you can download this exact script, and you can run it on your local if you have Python installed, and just see how it works, right? So yeah, that's been it for this video. Hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, follow the page, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, bye for now.